Clear.
Okay. So yesterday we have discussed about all the other things, right? So today it
Mm.
is non-current asset. Okay. So non-current asset is controlled in a similar way as purchases. Okay. But in non-current assets, there is the amounts that are involved is very significant than the other purchases. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
So first of all, our objective is to make it solely for the business purpose. Okay, and asset should be purchased at an appropriate price. Okay, and the company should be able to afford the price. Okay, and all the assets which are purchased should be recorded in the books. Okay, and it should be completely recorded and accurately recorded. Clear? And
Mm-hmm.
all these assets should also have an insurance attached with it so that if there is any accidents in the future, you are insured. Okay. And lastly, all the documents related with the asset should be safeguarded. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now, we have the control and test of control. So, first control is when the capital expenditure is to be done, it should be formally filled in a requisition form and sent to a senior level authority. Clear? And how
Clear.
do you test this particular control? You're going to look towards the requisition form and you're going to see whether it was authorized by a senior personnel. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also you're going to ensure that this person is senior enough to do these kinds of things. Understood?
Understood.
Okay. Next, control authorization for purchases of non-current assets should be at more senior level. So it should be at a very big senior level because it involves huge amounts, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to do? We are going to inspect the purchase documents and see whether it was signed by an appropriate senior personnel. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Next, controllers. In before buying anything, we should get quotations from different parties, different suppliers, and we are going to select the best price that we can get in the market. Clear? So what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
To inspect the purchase requisition for all the quotations that they have obtained, okay, to ensure that that exists. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Fourth one, an annual capital expenditure budget for each department should be prepared and authorization should only be given for purchases which have been budgeted. So there should be a proper way in which each department has a budget according to which they buy the NCAs. Clear? Okay, so
Clear.
the control, how do we test it? We are going to inspect annual budget. Okay, and we are going to make sure that these have been prepared actually. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
we are going to
Okay.
inspect the board minutes as well because budget is something that is to be passed in AGM. So we're going to get the board minutes and see clear whether it
Mm-hmm.
has been approved by the board. Okay, now we are
Okay.
going to look towards the orders of such capital expenditure. Okay, and make sure it is being signed by or approved by a responsible official. Okay, that means a senior authority level person. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, next is there should be a regular review of revenue expenditure. Okay, in order to ensure that capital expenditure is not being recorded as revenue expenditure. Clear? The difference between
Clear.
a capital expenditure and a revenue expenditure is one is an expense and the other is an asset, right? So it shouldn't be mixed up. Clear? So we are going to
Clear.
inspect management accounts, okay, and also the revenue expenditure list, and we are going to look whether it has been reviewed. Clear? That means they have
Mm-hmm.
regularly reviewed this, so we are going to look for whether they have regularly reviewed this. And if there is any discrepancies, we are going to make sure the management has actually dealt with it. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, sixth one. There should be a regular reconciliation of what's been recorded in the asset ledger and what actually the company holds. Clear? So whatever is
Mm-hmm.
physically present as non-current asset should be there in the ledger and whatever is there in the ledger should be physically present. Clear? So what are we going to do?
Clear.
We're going to inspect the asset ledger. Okay. And we're going to make sure that all the assets which are there and it is maintained is actually what's been recorded. Clear?
Clear.
Now, eighth one, all the assets should have adequate insurance which covers its damage when occurs, right? So we're going to see the
Mm-hmm.
in insurance policies in order to see whether there is insurance in place, and we're going to review the policy in order to estimate how much it covers, okay? And also we are going to compare the value of the assets in order to ensure whether it is sufficient for the insurance. Clear? Whether whatever insurance
Clear.
that has been taken, the amount is sufficient to cover the asset. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, all the major documents related with non-current assets, such as the title deeds, vehicle registration forms, okay, insurance policies, etc., is to be stored on in a safe place where it couldn't be damaged. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to inspect the facility where these documents are stored. Okay. We're going to make sure that there is also adequate backup available with them if there is any accidents that is going to happen. Clear?
Clear.
Understood? Now, reporting
Mm-hmm.
internal control deficiencies to management. So, when we are auditing, majorly this happens in the interim audit. When we audit, there could be deficiencies that we notice, right? And it should be
Mm-hmm.
reported in writing with a management letter as a report to those charged with governance. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
all the results should be recorded in the audit file. Okay. And the auditor would have objective of the test as well. Okay. And how the test of control was done. Okay. And what findings did they reach? And what recommendation would they give for that? Clear? Okay. And there is
Clear.
one-way formats for such things, but most of the companies is going to get a covering letter and a normal format which most of the companies follow. Okay, there is no such thing as it should be written like this. There is no such thing, but commonly most of the companies write like this. Clear? And
Okay.
and it is being given with a covering letter. The covering letter would actually admit that the deficiencies are a comprehensive list. That means there are other deficiencies that's been come to notice, but these are the significant ones. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, now they are going to mention the report is solely for the use of the company. That means it shouldn't be used by any third party. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
they're going to make sure that there is no disclosure on any third party. Okay, without an agreement from the auditor that they can actually use this management report. Clear? Okay,
Clear.
now no responsibility is to be assumed by any other parties also. Clear?
Okay.
Okay, so what is the structure of the management letter? It would highlight the deficiency. That means, see, each company has their own format for management letter. In our company,
Mm-hmm.
it's like we would have all the terms and conditions first, all the formal wordings which would say what has been done and who is to use this particular report. And then there would be like heading wise, there would be list about what all is the problem. So if it is an asset that has some problem with, everything would be explained under it. That these have come to notice and we're going to provide recommendation. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, so first deficiency, it's going to be a clear description about what is weak in the internal control system. Clear? And then
Mm-hmm.
we are going to explain what would happen if this goes along in the organization, if it is not corrected. And lastly, we are going to recommend how to compact these things. Clear? Now,
Clear.
last topic, payroll controls. This is very important, most commonly asked. It could be asked like a control question, or it could be asked like a risk question, or it could be asked like an audit procedure also. Okay.
Okay.
Process. What is the process? First process is clock cards, time sheet submitted. Okay. Or
Mm-hmm.
the punch in, the swipe, everything is like as same as this one. Clear? So what is the objective behind this particular process? In order to make sure that employees are paid for how long they work or what actually they have done in the company, right? So what are the
Mm-hmm.
controls that is done? You're going to review and sign the timesheets. Okay. You're going to see the number and the name clock cards. Okay. And store unused ones separately, used ones separately. Clear? Okay. And
Clear.
the manager is going to authorize the clock card. Clock card is simply a sheet which would have the employee name, the punch in, punch out. Clear? That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What they have worked.
Okay.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a manager is going to authorize the clock card. Okay. Lastly, they're going to implement extra security, for example, CCTV footages, continuous supervision by a foreman, etc. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Clear.
Next process is payroll calculation. Okay. So what is the objective behind this? Only genuine employees should be paid, right? Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
employees should be paid correctly. Okay. And the calculation must be accurate. Okay. And it should be recorded in gross pay. Okay. That means everything should be listed down and the net pay would be there in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, accurately, you should calculate from gross pay to net pay. That is the objectives. So, what are the control procedures? You're going to input timesheets and clock cards into payroll system. Automatically, there should be a system where all of the things should go to the system. That means all of the punch in, punch out should automatically go to the system. Clear? Or at least
Mm-hmm.
someone is getting it in, they should get it in properly. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now, this payroll system is a software and it is going to automatically calculate the wages. Okay. And a manager would take the samples and recalculate them. Clear? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the payroll manager is going to review the thing again. And the payment summary report would be signed for approval. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. And after that, a finance director would review this again and he is going to approve the payroll. Okay. And also, as he does this, if there is any exceptions, any unusual things, he's going to prepare an exception report. Clear? See,
Mm-hmm.
the basic thing, an exception report is a report where something unusual happens out. That means out of the ordinary, something unusual happens. You have to prepare an exception report of what the unusual situation was. Clear?
Okay.
Now, next one process is standing data amendments. So, standing data is the first data that the company collects, the first detailed data that the company collects from the employee when they join the organization. Clear? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is the objective? The standing data must be up to date. Okay. And it shouldn't be accessed by everyone in the organization. That means it should have a limited, restricted access. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Control procedures is you're going to complete a joiners and leavers form as the employee comes in and go out. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there should be a file for joiners which would hold their identity proofs and all the background check that was performed. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. And if there is any amendments, the an amendment form should be filled and it should be signed for any salary changes or any other changes. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, who gets to make amendments? Only those people who has been authorized by the company in order to amend the standing data should be given the control. Clear?
Clear.
And after once they make the amendments, they should sign that sheet or sign it before after making changes. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
And there could be amendments here and there, here and now, right? So all the amendment reports should be given to a finance director for review and his approval. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now all the standing data should be protected by a password. Okay. And it should be given to only those people who is trusted and is on a senior authority level. Clear? Seventh
Clear.
one, you're going to print and review exception report if that happens. Okay. Before the payroll is being processed. Okay. And this particular review should be signed by a responsible person. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Now, next one,
Mm-hmm.
recording. Okay. So, what is the objective here? Payroll should be recorded accurately, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This payroll list is going to be received by the accounts department, and they are going to record the expenses or any payments that is being made. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, payments to employees. Okay, so the objective is all the employees should get correct payment. Okay, and also the tax authorities should get their pay as well. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, here there is no income tax, but in other countries there is income tax. In UK, it is called pay as you earn. Clear?
Okay, clear.
Now, what is the control procedure? The payment should be done through bank, okay? And the bank passwords and access should be limited to senior authority levels. Clear? And the
Mm-hmm.
manager is going to upload and reconcile the system in the bank, okay? And he should take the printouts and sign it for processing as an evidence that he has reviewed everything, okay? And the finance
Okay.
and the HR director or any other senior authority level people should approve the payroll, okay, on the banking system before the payroll has been finalized. Clear? And also they should
Clear.
confirmation signing these things. Clear? And this is
Mm-hmm.
printed, okay, and by when the payroll is got by an individual staff, they are going to sign it as well. Clear? That
Mm-hmm.
these people have been paid and the payroll manager is going to sign that off. Clear?
Clear.
Now, next, when it relates to paying, is that there should be timely and accurate payments done to employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is especially with the payroll of wages. Clear? So here what happens?
Okay.
They are using envelopes or they are being paid in cash, right? So what are the
Mm-hmm.
control procedures? It is going to be counted and the cash of each staff is going to be made by making them sign the cash payment sheet. Clear? That means
Mm-hmm.
for giving to them, we are going to count it and we're going to pass on the envelope. And when they receives it, they're going to sign in the cash payment sheet. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
see, the first time someone counts and keep it in the envelope. Now, a supervisor would recount it and he's going to seal the envelope. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
he's also going to sign the cash payment sheet. Okay. And
Okay.
the next stage is distributing them. So there should also be two people. Okay. That
Okay.
means when the person who is receiving the cash, they're going to open it, okay, and they're going to count that particular cash in front of these payroll members, okay, and then they're going to sign the confirmation of the receipt that they have received it. Clear?
Clear.
And once they receive it, both the payroll members are going to sign off that timesheet. That means confirmation of the receipt. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, significant deficiencies. How do we say there is a significant deficiency? Okay. So, how do we say whether the internal control system has a significant weakness in order to report it? First thing is that if the deficiency is going to create material misstatements in the FS, then that is significant. Clear?
Okay.
Now, if you feel that there is some sort of loss of fraud that has happened to an asset or liability, it's a significant internal control weakness. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you feel that whatever estimated amounts are there, they are very complex and very subjective, and the amount could go wrong, then also it is a significant deficiency. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, any deficiency that are being exposed or connected with FS is a significant deficiency. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now, what
Mm-hmm.
all, now we have to consider with this particular internal control weakness, what all volumes of activity around that organization is involved. Clear? That means what
Clear.
all balances, what all accounts, what all transactions does it affect? That means, is there a ripple effect? Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clear.
Now, if the control is very crucial in the financial reporting process, then that is also significant. Okay. Now you're going
Okay.
to see whether how many times there has been an exception reported as the control has been weakened. If there is too many times, then that means it should be reported, it is significant. Clear?
Clear.
And also you must understand how a deficiency in a part of the internal control system is going to affect the rest of the parts. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with this, our chapter is over.